earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not for every man's greed. Says Mahatma Gandhi, have you ever wondered what it means to live wisely in a world driven by consumerism and endless desires? The true essence of wisdom often gets lost. But today, let's explore a concept that might just bring us closer to a more meaningful life. According to the economist philosopher Ernst Schumacher, in today's society, permanence is incompatible with a predatory attitude which rejoices in the fact that what were luxuries for our fathers have become necessities for us. It means staying true to what is essential, sustainable, and lasting. It's a timeless wisdom that invites us to move beyond our endless cravings for more. You see, the problem arises when our desires become limitless. Philosophy of Simpler Living says, the cultivation and expansion of needs is the antithesis of wisdom. It is also the antithesis of freedom and peace. Every increase of needs tends to increase our dependence on outside forces over which we don't have control, and therefore increases existential fear. Buddha says, every new desire, every new need makes us more dependent on things we cannot control, feeding our fears and anxieties. Thus, only by a reduction of needs, you can promote a genuine reduction in those tensions which are the ultimate causes of strife and war. Minimalist writer Leo Babauta says, this is the paradox of our times. What were luxuries for our ancestors have now become necessities for us. We are told to want more, to consume more. But at what cost? If we truly wish to live a life of peace and freedom, we must begin by reducing our needs, by choosing simplicity over excess. It's not about rejecting progress. It's about redefining what progress means for our soul, our environment, and our society. We must remind ourselves solutions which poison the environment or degrade the social structure and man himself are of no benefit, no matter how brilliantly conceived or how great their superficial attraction. They're nothing but distractions, leading us further away from what really matters. We need to understand, what is it that we really require from the scientists and technologists? We need methods and equipment which are cheap enough so that they are accessible to virtually everyone, suitable for small-scale application, and compatible with man's need for creativity. If we overlook any of these three principles, things are bound to go wrong, and we risk creating a world that's imbalanced, where technology becomes a burden rather than a blessing. This was a primary concern of Gandhi when he said, I want the dumb millions of our land to be healthy and happy, and I want them to grow spiritually. If we feel the need of machine, we certainly will have them, but also warned that not all machines are created equal. Gandhi believed that every machine that helps every individual has a place, but there should be no place for machines that concentrate power in a few hands and turn the masses into mere machine minders, if indeed they do not make them unemployed. Gandhi was very clear that the goal is to create technology that helps people thrive, not just survive. Aldous Huxley, the visionary writer, says, the sole purpose of machine and technology is to provide ordinary people with the means of doing profitable and intrinsically significant work, of helping men and women to achieve independence from bosses so that they may become their own employers. Needless to say, this differently orientated technological progress would result in a progressive decentralization of population, of accessibility of resources, and of ownership of the means of production. Other advantages would be a more humanly satisfying life for more people and freedom from the constant barrage of consumerist messages. There are the records of the philosophical societies that says there is wisdom in smallness. Wisdom that has the ability to liberate oneself from masters of greed and envy. Wisdom which enable us to see the hollowness and fundamental unsatisfactoriness of a life devoted primarily to the pursuit of material ends, to the neglect of the spiritual. Gandhi, a man of peace and nonviolence, says, "A life greed and envy necessarily sets man against man and nation against nation, because man's needs are infinite, and infinitude can be achieved only in the spiritual realm, never in the material. Today, man assuredly needs to rise above this humdrum world, and wisdom shows him the way to do it. Without wisdom, he is driven to build up a monster economy which destroys the world." Philosophy of simpler living suggests one can disarm greed and envy by being much less greedy and envious, by resisting the temptation of letting our luxuries become needs, and by even scrutinizing our needs to see if they cannot be simplified and reduced. Economist philosopher Ernst Schumacher talk about Buddhist economics. He says, right livelihood is one of the requirements of the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path. It is clear, therefore, that there must be such a thing as Buddhist economics. According to Schumacher, spiritual health and material well-being are not enemies, they are natural allies. Or, we can blend successfully the religious and spiritual values of our heritage with the benefits of modern technology. Our modern industrial system of work is based on the principle of materialism, unchecked production, and most importantly, economics for leisure. However, the Buddhist point of view says the function of work is at least threefold. First, to give a man a chance to utilize and develop his faculties. Second, to enable him to overcome his ego-centeredness by joining with other people in a common task. And third, to bring forth the goods and services needed for a becoming existence. And in Buddhist economics, to strive for leisure as an alternative to work would be considered a complete misunderstanding of one of the basic truths of human existence, because work and leisure are complementary parts of the same living process and cannot be separated without destroying the joy of work and the bliss of leisure. By and large, from the Buddhist point of view, there are two types of mechanization which must be clearly distinguished. One that enhances a man's skill and power, and one that turns the work of man over to a mechanical slave, leaving man in a position of having to serve as the slave. The Indian philosopher and economist J.C. Kumarappa sums the matter up as follows. If the nature of the work is properly appreciated and applied, it will stand in the same relation to the higher faculties as food is to the physical body. It nourishes and enlivens the higher man and urges him to produce the best he is capable of. It directs his free will along the proper course and disciplines the animal in him into progressive channels. It furnishes an excellent background for man to display his scale of values and develop his personality. If a man has no chance of obtaining work, he is in a desperate position, not simply because he lacks an income, but because he lacks this nourishing and enlivening factor of disciplined work, which nothing can replace. Schumacher says, Buddhist economics is very different from the economics of modern materialism, since the Buddhist sees the essence of civilization not in a multiplication of wants, but in the purification of human character. Character, at the same time, is formed primarily by a man's work, and work, properly conducted in conditions of human dignity and freedom, blesses those who do it, and equally their products. So, let's strive for a different kind of work, one that honors our needs but rejects greed, one that brings us closer to wisdom, freedom, and peace. After all, wisdom is not about having more, it's about being more. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more empowering content. And if our content has inspired you, consider supporting our channel by becoming a member or giving super. Your contributions enable us to keep delivering valuable and uplifting content. Thanks for watching.